Hi guys, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. So my last video, YouTube has really been messing with my channel in a big way, and it makes me feel like I just, you know, it just makes me feel like why bother, you know. But I mean, it erased lots of comments, wouldn't let people leave a comment. Viewing figures go up and then go down again, so I know full well what they're doing and so forth and so on. But here's the thing, I don't believe it's a reflection of what's really going on, and I consider my channel to be important for myself and also for you, my listeners, you know. Because if there's one thing I'm really painfully aware of here, is our isolation, you see. I'm not actually feeling great this morning. What am I saying? When was the last time I actually felt anything approaching good? That's been months, and God, it's been so long. How many of you feel isolated? You know, you're completely alone, or you might have one other person in your life who gets it, who's on the page, right? Or nobody at all. And you are having to navigate terrain that is now so dark and so ugly because you're super awake, right? So you're no longer in denial. Well, I mean, then again, you think you're super awake, you think you know, but then you never know what you don't know until another layer of filth is removed. And you realise, oh my fucking God. You know, and then you realise that you thought you knew something, but now you know it. You know it so much more. And you get it, you know. The more you awaken, the harder it gets, because you approach 0 point within yourself, the darkest of the dark. It's like I said in my last video, yeah? Where the biggest linchpin of it all, where evil has the most power, is where you hate yourself, where you are insane with the pain. You know, I've called it the passive aggressive element, I call it the navigator. It's the part of you that has had to focus solely on evil, and in all of its guises, in all of its ways, in order to survive, yeah? Here guys, I'm just gonna, hold on. I think that's better, yeah? Is that better? Hi. I guess in many ways the reason I'm doing this video here today is to try and connect with you out there, and to tell you that yes, I feel really isolated. And even though I'm lucky because I have a really good friend who's on the page, but I still feel really isolated. I am surrounded by this toxic sludge that is mass consciousness. You know, it's like I live in Britain, and you know, you get these people that go on about how the population of the world being 7 billion is a lie, and oh, you know, we could take the whole population of planet Earth in Texas and we would still be living really well, or some such thing, like, you know, whatever. Well, they're building houses everywhere in this fucking country, I can tell you that, right? I live in Devon, and there's fucking people everywhere. Now, most of those are Hilux, they're MPCs. I know this because they stink of washing powder, laundry detergent. They all look the same, they all do the same. There is nothing there, I get no energy of them, they're dead. I know when I meet a soul being, because there's eye contact, there's an exchange of life force. It's warm, it's life-giving, and it's wonderful, and it gladdens my heart every time it happens. I choose to no longer feed the whole MPCs thing, which is repugnant and an abomination, absolutely, yes, but I can feed it with hatred, which comes from the belief that evil always wins and there's nothing you can do, i.e. victimhood, which is against self. See, this is a part of the whole self-hate thing, that evil gets you stuck in, trapped in, and you don't realise you're doing it, that you are complicit in it, you don't realise you're doing it. So that when you do become aware of it, don't blame yourself. You've been had, it's not your fault. Just gently extricate yourself from it, and that will take time, so be patient with that. Because I get these massive surges of abject hatred for them, because they are. It is a repugnance, absolutely it is. They are carbon cutout people. They are a dime a dozen people. You know, some. I was reading through my comments the other day, and somebody called them deadhead zombies, and they are. You know, they are corporate people, and they are everywhere. They are absolutely everywhere. And I know the sentiment often for soul travelers is that, you know, it's that feeling of, oh, we don't belong here. We don't belong here. But here's the thing, baby. We belong. They don't. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not us that's going to leave and go somewhere else. We are the emissaries of love, and we are here to re-establish heaven, paradise, with our love, with the purity and the goodness of our love. And it literally will transmute everything that is dead. I really believe that. And I know how hard it is to believe in miracles, to believe in a magical, miraculous flow. Believe me, I know. Because we've been so fucking traumatized. And part of that is that whole isolation factor. See, soul travelers on being forced to witness the ugliness of this world. Now, when you live in Britain especially, you'll be familiar with this, but I dare say it's the same in Australia and America and Germany and France and whatnot. But in Britain, you get all these boxy housing estates, right? And over the last 4 or 5 decades that they've been building these type of estates, the houses have become more and more and more narrow, and the windows have become more and more small. People work an entire life to be able to afford to live in one of those things. It is evil. They're tiny little gardens, and they all live on top of each other, right? But it's very ugly. It's so ugly. It's just horrifying. And then the sort of I don't really mean to reiterate, because when your eyes are so open as they are now, you see it for yourself, you know, you see the squalor, the rubbish everywhere, the empty packages and the this and that. You know, this is whole climate change business where that so many people still don't seem to see through. And I'm like, look, do these entities, do they ever talk about the landfills? When they started to wrap everything in plastic, right? And all the other garbage that is taken to landfills, do they ever talk about that? No, they don't. They never talk about pollution. They never talk about the landfills. They never talk about nature or the animals. No, all they ever talk about is climate change, climate change. This is how evil hijacks something. Back in the day, you had Greenpeace, and they were brilliant. And they were true. And they, you know, the Rainbow Warrior, their ship, I mean, they were great. And that's been hacked. That's what evil does. Evil is a lie. And it takes truth and then subverts it into a lie. This is why I knew straight away that BLM was a lie, because it doesn't give a damn about people of colour. And we're all people of colour, you know, we've all got a colour. It's just our colours are different. But, you know, you get salt people and non-salt people, and that is the only distinction I make. To me, all salt people are beautiful. Whether you're male, female, whether you're black or white or purple, you know, whether you're gay or whether you're straight or whether you consider yourself whatever. It is, if you're a being of light, you're a being of light and you're beautiful. The isolation factor, man, wow. It's hard, and I'll tell you why. I think it is. Because when you stop and really think about it, or rather, when you stop and really feel about it, you still have that empty place inside of you, right? That place where you are against yourself. This is way beyond the inner critic. I'll tell you something that happened, and it was so beautiful. And it, you know, it leads into this, because it's so meaningful, you know, and it makes so much sense. I was walking near here by the river in the woods, and I came across a guy with his dog, and he was sold, and he made eye contact, and his beautiful dog came up to me, and it was really nice, and we had a really good conversation. And he said, "Oh, there's otters here, did you know that?" And I wasn't really aware of it. I'd seen a placard saying there were otters there, but I'd never seen one. And I hadn't really thought of it because I've been otherwise preoccupied. I mean, you know, birds and whatnot. I've seen woodpeckers and birds of prey and, yeah, foxes and whatnot. It was beautiful. So he said, yeah. And he said he saw an otter. And I stood there thinking, wow, I wish I would see an otter, because I love otters, I really do. Anyway, he went his way, I went my way. And then I was there yesterday, very early. So I get up at ridiculous o'clock, right? I get up very early, and so that means it's pitch black. And I will take my torch and I will go for a walk. And I'll meet all the other torch walkers. There's not that many of them, but I really like it because there's hardly anyone about, bar of course the other people that walk with their torch in a pitch black, and listen to the birds and the owls and whatnot. And then on my way back, the light was coming on. It began to be daylight, and I was by the river, and I could hear a splash, And I looked to my left, and what did I see but a beautiful otter. You know how they're very playful, and this otter was diving in and then coming out, and then he popped his head up and he was looking at me, and it was a pure and sacred moment. Made it all the more so because shortly before it happened, I'd felt this sense of love, like wings around my back folding about me, lovingly, protectively, life-giving. And 5 minutes later, the whole otter incident, and it was beautiful, and it was sacred. So beautiful, and then stood there for quite a while, just speechless with wonder, and then this darkness swoops in and goes, oh, but it doesn't matter, it's all irrelevant, because it will all be destroyed anyway. See, this is what evil is. Because if evil really had the power, the navigator believes that evil always wins and there's nothing you can do. Right? It feels completely alone in hell, it's all bad, nothing is ever going to be alright ever again. Because it's had to focus completely and solely on darkness. Right? Anticipating harm, anticipating danger, anticipating all kinds of horribleness in order to, right, how will I deal with this and how will I deal with that? How do I survive here, right? But in doing so, it's forgotten, it's become immured almost to the light, to that which is good and pure and true, to that which is part of duality, even here in extreme duality. Light, love, beauty, these sacred moments of wowness, right? It's become immured to that. It's like it can't even relate anymore. It's like, well, what does it matter, seeing as evil is going to destroy it all anyway? Because it's been so habituated to just being in the darkness, trying to survive, that is all it knows how to do. You get, so that is where you suffer more than anything. That is where the darkest of the dark lives within us, and that is where this terrible sense of isolation is as well. Because despite it being that way, it also, and you also, remember without a doubt that this is all wrong. You know this, you feel it. You feel it in your bones, in your soul, in your atoms, in your you feel it in your entire being. It's now become more obvious than ever before that, hey, this is not how things are meant to be. This type of, how difficult everything is. You need to get in your car and drive somewhere, and there's roadworks everywhere. Everything is obstructed. Getting dressed. In the morning you get up, you have to get dressed, you have to have a wash, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that, you have to do that. Procrastination is the thief of time, so we better just do it now so that we don't have to do it later. But then there's always something else to do later anyway, meaning you're always doing something, doing, because it wants you to be distracted. Used to be where you watch all these conspiracy videos on YouTube that are just toxic as fuck. Torpedoes your mood straight off. People do that because it feels like entertainment. It feels like you're about to watch a good film, a good movie, and it's like, whoa, this isn't entertainment, guys. This is fucking toxic shit. It's predictive programming, because consciousness creates reality, and it wants you watching all this type of shit and believing it's real, believing it's happening. so that evil can continue to exist and use your consciousness to perpetuate itself. Get away from it. Get away from it. So you're back to your isolation status again, and this notion that, but I've just had this really amazing experience and it was sacred and it was magical. And here is the parasite, the usurper, lying, saying, oh, it'll all be destroyed. Well, if you're so powerful, how come it hasn't been? Because it is there, and I see the black-spotted woodpecker, and I hear the peregrine falcon, and I see that great big buzzard, and I saw the fox, and I saw that otter, and I touch the trees and I feel their life force and I communicate with them, and I put my hand in the water of the river, I can feel its consciousness. So there you have it. We belong, all beings of light, soul people, soul animals and nature and everything that is alive, we belong. The darkness and the Hylics, they don't belong. We do not need to leave. We are beings of light. This feeling, this isolation, has a lot to do with the fragmentation, where we have become fragmented and dependent, because that is what typifies this realm. And the MPCs, like I did a video not that long ago, it's called Why You Are Surrounded by the MPCs. And there's a reason why they're everywhere surrounding us. It's because they are there, they are called the mundane reality reinforcement officers, because that's what they are. They're there to reinforce a certain state of being, thinking, feeling, behaving, cognitive, behavioral, and it's all about being fragmented and broken and distorted and unaware of the self-hate, but just being inherently negative, inherently expecting the worst, inherently focused on the negative. And perpetuating that, and being in a state of just toxic. I see it everywhere. If you see what it is, how people treat each other, how people treat themselves, antagonistic, conflict, suspicion, always expecting the worst. That is what they want. That's why they're there. That's why we're surrounded by it. And so that is what we're used to. That is what we're used to. And we used to operate that way ourselves. But we're now at a point, well, some of us are, where we are alchemizing, transmuting the last of that toxic sludge. Ergo, it feels so dreadful. So unspeakably dreadful, where you have this beautiful experience and it still feels like it can barely get through, because oh boy, it wants us to carry on living darkly. That is what it wants. Oh, you're completely isolated, you're completely alone, there's nobody like you. And of course that is not true. But if you're looking for validation and confirmation to the external, then and if you persist in that, then you will not attain wholeness And the only way that a soul traveler, any soul being for that matter, can ever achieve sovereignty, self-power, is through wholeness. Which means you are no longer in need of anything, because everything that you ever needed is within you, here. And that is a hard road, because what we're all used to, and we were made used to that, is a state of it's a state of being a black hole. I am in a constant state of need, right? It's like disease. This realm is riddled with disease, more now than ever before. And you get the pharmacological establishment managing this disease, the symptoms, by giving us substances that then distort it even more, that drives it into hell even more. We know the name of the game, we know how this thing works, and it works because we are in a state of dependency, we are in a state of black wholeness, we are in a state of need, for we are not sovereign. So how do we become sovereign? How? See, it tells you that, oh, if you become sovereign and whole, you will be all alone. You will be in a state of complete powerfulness, but you will be all alone, which is a complete lie. See, I remember the Golden World, a place of such incredible beauty and goodness, shining. The colours, wow, where everyone is completely whole. There's no question. There is no question, there is no notion about not being whole. Such thing is not known. Such thing would be considered inconceivable. We are all whole there. We were all completely whole, and yet we existed in such a lush, beautiful state of communion and harmony and belonging and infinite creativity together, you know? If you have memories like that, if you remember, the dark side will tell you that, oh, it's just a figment of your imagination, there's no such place. Just like when you went to school back in the 70s, they will tell you that there's no such thing as psychic phenomenon, and there's no such thing as intuition, and oh no. It's all been such a lie. You feel isolated because you're surrounded by these deadhead zombies that don't get it, or souled beings that are normies, are waking up slowly but surely, but oh boy, they don't get it. They cannot validate you. They cannot confirm what you feel within, and they cannot help you, support you, and love you whilst you're walking these last few steps of your journey through the darkest part of yourself, which is terrifying. Where you have these beautiful, sacred, magical experiences, but the dark side will swoop in and latch on to the part of you that is the most wounded, i.e. the navigator, and because it can only do what it does to you because there's that part of you still not healed. Do you get what I'm saying? Because when you are whole again, sovereign, the dark side will have no power over you whatsoever. It will not. See? So and there you are, you have that beautiful experience, but oh, the dark side will grab that last wounded soul fragment of yours by the neck, throttling it, telling you lies. Oh, we will destroy you, we will destroy it all. Because that part of you has only ever known darkness. We have to survive, you have to survive, you have to survive. light and love does not threaten us. Darkness does, you see. So you've been focused on darkness all that time in that part of you. Sovereignty, self-power, is a state of completeness. I am complete, I am whole, I do not need validation, I do not need confirmation. I am no longer afraid, I am at peace, I am powerful, I am the magical, miraculous flow. And before me, all that is evil, all that is insane, all that is a distortion and an abomination disintegrates and is no more. For I am a being of light. I am the power of love. I am the magical, miraculous flow. And I come here to bring the light reset. That is true sovereignty. There is no disease. There is no decay. There's no old age. There's no accidents, sabotage, persecution. There is love. And we see all that we love shining with light, with goodness. You see? We're not given validation and confirmation because we need to find that within ourselves, and I think that paradoxically is why, we are isolated in many ways. It's a really hard part of the journey. I mean, and I get it totally. I was on Facebook earlier, and there's this guy on Facebook, and I quite like him. And he posts stuff that I quite like. But then today it was all about how he's reading this book by Eckhart Tolle. And, oh boy, I was very disappointed. I've seen this. I've seen people that, I thought they were doing this and they were that and they were ooh and they were ah, and then it's like, oh, I'm reading The Power of Now, and I'm like, why are you reading that? And or why are you listening to this woman on YouTube or this, that or the other? You see, it's a bit like an accordion or a fan that comes, like in and out like that. I mean, people are across the spectrum doing, walking their path, doing their thing, their journey, And I felt upset because I thought I wanted validation, I needed feeding, I needed confirmation and validation and support because I've been feeling so bloody isolated and lonely and terrified and wounded and destroyed and a whole slew of emotions I don't even have any words for, and I just want it to stop, and I just want to feel better, and I just want somebody to hold me and say it's all going to be all right again, Anika. You see, but nobody can do that for me because all that lies within me, and so I'm gonna yet again endeavour to give that to myself and to let other people be what they must be and do what they must do and walk their path, for it is none of my business. No, he's a nice guy, he's a good guy. And anyway, I do come across books, and not that I read books actually, because I don't anymore, but I might read the occasional bit here and the occasional there and some YouTube video by a woman that I don't normally resonate with at all, but my intuition says, watch this video because there's something in it for you. And I watch the video and I chuck most of it out, but hey, there's a few pearls in there and woohoo, perfect. That is the maverick effect. So I do that. It's not for me to judge others. This is another thing we tend to do, isn't it? And it's all fear, you know, it really just is. God, you feel so hollow, don't you? You feel so hollow and in so much pain. You think, this is surely going to kill me. It surely is. And you post a video on the tube and it's like, oh, nobody's watching you. Nobody cares. See, so that really brought it home to me as well, yeah? It wants me to feel that way. It wants me to feel alone, lost, isolated, unwanted, rejected. No doubt when I post this it'll be the same, but you know, it is what it is. I will do what my intuition guides me, what my heart guides me, what the Great Mother guides me to do. And that is why I'm sat here doing this video, recording this video, and I will post it. And if the same thing happens, so be it. It is what it is. Because it feels right, you see, it feels right. And I want to share my journey with you and let you know that as isolated and lost and wounded as you feel, you are not alone, fellow soul traveller. You are not alone. And regardless of the lies that the dark side tells you, holding on to your woundedness still, right? And it's so overwhelming now, it is, it's just like wave after wave of overwhelming hopelessness and despair and terror and rage and grief and sorrow and loss and whoa, wow. And still you're expected to run the gauntlet every day. You have to go to work, you have to earn a living, you have to navigate traffic. Oh, but the world's not overpopulated, you know. No, not at all, not at all. You have to see the new, ugly, nasty, ticky-tacky housing developments everywhere. More trees cut down. More fucking asphalt roads put down. And these cardboard cutout people everywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's like the Truman Show, but on steroids. And I had a weird experience, man, the other day, and that's really it's got me a bit like, whoa. Because you know, you get all the cognitive dissonance as well. That's another part of this nasty experience, is the constant inundation of, oh no, this is all there is, and it's good. It's brilliant. Look at all that plastic grass. I mean, we're happy. This is all there is. This is all there is. There aren't any miracles. You know? Mundane reality reinforcement. Cognitive dissonance. Oh, there's no such thing as intuition. So, and yet every day you have a shitload of experiences that tell you very clearly, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that is a complete and utter lie. Because this is not a mundane thing. There is magical goodness and beautifulness here. And there's just plain high strangeness happening all the time, right? Creatures coming up from the bowels of the earth and wandering around shopping centres. And yeah, I know. Everyone jumps on that bandwagon and the whole story just becomes more and more insane and distorted, but my intuition guides me. I know there's all kinds of weird shit going on, guys, in this weird artificial dream world. Anyway, I came across a postman delivering stuff, and I said to him, because I was expecting something, and I thought, well, you know, I'll just ask him. I said, have you got a parcel for blah blah blah? And he said, where do you live? I went, well, there. He goes, oh, I don't deliver there. it's someone else. He said, oh, but you're... And then he called me by name, my full name. You know, my whole name, my full name. And I'd never seen this guy before, and he doesn't deliver the meal here, and it was all very strange. And I'm like, how is it that he knows my full name and that he knows where I live? What the heck? Right? And I did not get a negative sense or demonic sense or threatening, harmful sense of him. I didn't. But it was a very odd thing, and it was very Truman Show-esque. Because of course in the Truman Show they all know who he is. And I'm pretty convinced that whatever this thing we call reality, laughingly, is, it is not what we think it is at all. No. And they know who we are. Yeah. And that can fill you with dread and fear, persecution, imminent harm. Oh my God, oh what we're going to do, right? But again, I believe in the power of love, and I really feel with all my being that we are protected and guided at all times, more now than ever before, right? But it's a testament to the high strangeness, right? And, well, as I was doing my walk, before I saw the Otter, I realised with great clarity that what I've been calling the Dark Generator, the Black Hand, the Punisher, is really God, isn't it? When you stop and think about it, you will realise that our recent ancestors, as in maybe not our parents but certainly our grandparents, were all religious. It was an habitual thing for everyone to go to church on Sunday, to be inundated with hellfire and brimstone and sin programming, right? Fact. You look at places like Ireland, oh my fucking God, right? So that's a good example. So you think to yourself, well, that country is now far more secular, so all that nasty, nefarious religious bullshit is gone. No, it isn't. That's put into people, and so it becomes an ancestral curse, you see. And it isn't just a Christian religion, it's Islam, it's all religions, because they're all bad and they're all toxic. Quite a few resets, dark resets back, we had a worldwide mystical tradition, which was all these religions combined. There is evidence still lingering here and there that, far from being fragmented and separate, all these religions were combined. And it wasn't a religion, it wasn't dogmatic, it was more like mysticism, and it was something else, and it was far higher vibrational stuff. But of course, dark reset after dark reset, and it just became evil, it became sin. You see, you are a sinner and you deserve to be punished, and that gave rise to this whole self-hate thing, this passive-aggressive element, the navigator. Because when you're in hell and you're here to be punished, bad things are going to happen all the time. There is disease, there is decay, there is loss, there is harm, there is theft, there is rape, and there is pillage, and it can come at any time from anywhere, and you're just in a state of why do you think we have a nervous system, the fight or flight response? It's always there, you know, but it nobody thinks about it. No, right? It's all there for a reason. This is where we're at now, you see. This is it. This whole nervous system, it's the slave yoke. That's what it is. Can you feel it? Huh? See? God is the punisher. This is why I like his Dark Materials, the Northern Lights series, because it shows in there God is just this usurper, a liar, a thief, you know, the demiurge. This is why I vibe a lot with Gnosticism. I'm not saying it's the truth as such, because hey, I'm not. It's a subjective type of thing, but it's a good way of looking at it. You have the demiurge and the archons, and they need to feed. Loosh, give us loosh. Punish them, make them suffer, make them squirm like the worms that they are. You know what I mean? It typifies this whole experience. Duality. Duality. Because of course we have evil, but we also have good. We also have the light, which enables us to extract meaning from this experience. But this is the end of duality, you see. We're heading for 0 point. 0 point. And I've been getting a lot of weird time anomalies. You see? A lot. I talked about one in one of my last videos, but I've had several since where the clock literally goes forward and backwards, jumps all over the place, and there's all kinds of weird shits going on, guys. It's falling apart, it's disintegrating, and it is good. Everything that is dead will disintegrate and be no more. So if you feel everything that I've spoken about in this video, and you feel alone, and you feel invalidated, and you feel isolated, then be aware that it is because of a state of dependency, which is the opposite of sovereignty. Everything lies within us. I feel this more today than I have ever felt it before. Everything that we need lies within us, for we are beings of light, we are beings of love. You know? Love is the most beautiful, the warmest life giver. It does not operate the same as the dark side. You'll know it by its essence. And it is who and what you are. It is who and what I am. You see? All beings of light are. Our ancestors were traumatized to the hilt in the churches and the mosques and the synagogues and the temples. I mean, there's a lot of these people that still adhere, say, to Buddhism, and there's various other type of religious things that people will follow and adhere to. But I tell you this, this is quite a long time ago, but I spent about a year meditating the hell out of myself, and I felt blissed out and peaceful, but it did absolutely nothing to heal my hell contagion. So underneath all that peaceful bliss, all that toxic insanity was there. So and I've met Buddhist monks, and they were not the nicest people, and I've met one that was a really decent bloke actually as well. You know, they come in all shapes and sizes, but it isn't the answer. You know? The elephant in the living room is the hell contagion, is that self-hate that pins us to the wheel. The spike, right? It's the antithesis of love. And so that is being transmuted now. And that is where you feel isolated and broken and destroyed. And you'll work through it. We are working through it one way or another, in our own way, on our own level, on our own page. You see, because this is me doing my thing, and that is you doing your thing, and it's different. It's not going to be the same. Why should it be? You see, so you focus on the external, right? This YouTube channel or that YouTube channel, and oh, this is how it is, and that's how it is, and they always sound as if, oh, this is how it is for everybody. One size fits all. That's false light, guys. That's false light. Alright? It's a very individual and very unique experience. It's not one size fits all. Some stuff will resonate with you for a little while and you'll take it on and do it and live it and use it. Utilize it, and it will serve you for a bit. And then it's like, okay, no longer, so you let it go. Okay. Yeah, we do take some stuff from the external. But only because it resonates with something within us. Connects here. The heart will tell you. Our ancestors had the shit kicked out of them in the churches and in the mosques and in the synagogues and the temple. It taught them to brutalize their own children. And again, I mean, some of us have had parents that were okay and they knew how to love. Maybe. But I do honestly find that a lot of vast majority of soul travelers that I've come across have been abused by parents that were heavily religiously indoctrinated, that believed in the power of sin and it's just dreadful punishment. So love, just there was no love. So we've been starved. Our ancestors were starved of the life-giving sap, which is love. That's what religion is. The Black Hand, the Dark Generator, the Punisher, and it's demonic. The Demiurge and the Archons, and it's demonic. You see? No wonder you feel isolated. I mean, God is never happy. God is never pleased. You will always be a sinner in the eyes of the Demiurge, and you will forever be rejected. And no matter how hard you try to be forgiven, and to be loved, and to earn that love, to earn God's love, it will never be forthcoming. You see what I mean? So you exist there. I must do whatever I must do in order for God to forgive me, and then I'll be safe again. Because you still believe that this whole thing, life, is something that's just happening to you, and maybe something will come and save you. Because in that place you do not realize that you are the be-all and the end-all of it all. The power is here with you, and it's just all been a fucking lie. And that's terrifying. In a way. It tells you, though, you wouldn't know what to do with that power. You wouldn't know what to do with miracles. You wouldn't know what to do with the magical, miraculous flow and the light reset. You wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't be able to handle it. It will go to your head. You'll become a megalomaniac. You'll be like God. You'll be evil, and, you know. And it's all bullshit, you know. Because we are such loving, amazing, beautiful angels that with all that power that is rightfully ours, accessed in full sovereignty and wholeness, the miraculous incredibleness that we will bring forth is beyond any kind of language. You see? Anyway, I think that's it for today. That's really all I felt like saying. If you find that you leave a comment and it just disappears, then please try and leave it again. And if that doesn't work, then please put it in the community section. It will say underneath the video, there will be a little words. It says community. Click on that, go into the community section and leave a comment there, please. It is good to hear from people. It's good to hear from you. So many of you leave amazing comments and they gladden my heart. It helps me to hear from you, you know. It's important. It's reciprocative. Hang in there, guys. You're all very precious. You are beings of light, beings of love. You are good and pure and true. We're nearly there. I love you all. Thank you for being here.